honestly, that's kind of really my only big faults with it and why I gave it a quote-unquote low score before. But I saw your Letterboxd score, and you gave it a 3. So where is that coming from?
Well, as people know, I often end up taking a little bit of time to think about things. So I think I rated it maybe like 4 hours after I saw the film, knowing that I would probably need to sit with it and return to it. But I walked out of the theater initially being like, yeah, it was okay, but I liked sequences or bits of it more than I liked the film as a whole. So having now sat with the film for a couple more days, I'd probably bump it up to somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. I don't know. I'm hard to please. I liked it, but I feel like I respect it more as a well-crafted film that has a good head on its shoulders, as opposed to, like, I love this movie, it's my new favorite movie. I also have a tendency to be very contrarian, so when I see people losing their shit over something and saying, this is a modern classic, this is going to be the thing where I, tell my kids I saw this in the theater, that I got to say I was there when it came out, to me, I'm like, let's pump the brakes just a second. I like it. I like Jordan Peele. I don't know that I think this is a new modern classic. I don't know that we should be saying any film is a new modern classic. Classics are classics because they take a while to solidify that status.
I won't disagree. I mean, I think it's a combination of, well, first of all, you're not wrong in like, so you're not alone in your feeling on that. I mean, again, I've seen that sentiment echoed across a couple people. And as we've discussed with Happy Death Day to You, I really think it's expectations. Yeah. Expectations need to be in check. And granted, it does not help when critics are throwing around masterpiece, next classic, modern American classic, Jordan Peele's a master of horror. And again, I think to give the designation master of horror needs to take a little bit longer. Like 2 films, great. You've made 2 really good films. Or great films, or excellent, like whatever you want to say. But yeah, I think, again, it's time. But you know what? Critics like pull quotes and hyperbolic statements get pull quotes. And it killed me when I wrote my review to not use those phrases for pull quotes. But it's because I didn't feel, I didn't think it was a perfect film, and I had issues with it. And again, writing a review at 7 a.m, the day after a screening, like, it's just like, ugh, like again, it's a lot of time unpack and process.
Well, and I think to me the other big piece for this is that this is the kind of film that does have a lot to say, and there is a lot of things going on, and to see it just once and to say those kinds of things, to me, is just a touch disingenuous. Like,
I agree.
This is a film that I think requires multiple viewings. And this is how I actually felt about Get Out, too. I went to see it after people had lost their shit about it. I went to see it in a matinee by myself. I watched it. I was like, you know what? This is good, but it feels really familiar. Like, he's hitting a lot of familiar horror beats to me. And I left the theater, I think I probably gave it like a 3 or a 3.5. And then it wasn't until months later that I realized I kept coming back to the film. I kept thinking about images, about sequences, about lines of dialogue. I was replaying the film over and over in my mind, and that's when I realized, you know what, this film has stuck around. It has made an impact on me. I really appreciate the craftsmanship and the work that Peele has done in making the film, and I do kind of feel like that could be the case for us. I don't know that I would like it the same way.
You don't know. I mean,
I need time. I need fucking time, people.
Well, I mean, like, it's just like all these other, like, Hereditary, The Witch, maybe It Comes Tonight if that floats your boat. Like, all of those films, I think, like, people are so quick to judge them because they have the festival hype, and then they come out and people are like, man, that was boring, man, it wasn't scary. But the thing is, all those movies I've seen, well, except for It Comes Tonight, I've only seen that once. But The Witch and Hereditary, like, I've seen those movies a handful of times, and I like them and appreciate and respect them more each time I watch them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with a movie that is so carefully crafted and layered, like an onion. You just have to I don't know, it's like a Shrek quote. But no, it's impossible. It is impossible to unlock all that immediately after your first viewing.
Get in, losers. This is the Lady Killers, a Feminine Rage podcast. I'm Jen.
I'm Sammy.
I'm Rocco.
And I'm May. Our podcast is a tribute to the female-identifying killers in horror and more.
Each episode will feature us, your Supreme Court of female murderers, discussing our favorite lady killers, from your Julias and Jennifers to your Carries and Christines.
We'll tell her story, decide if it's good for her horror, and answer the most important question of all: would we die for her?
Join us on Thursdays as we pull on our sweaters, snatch our ice picks, sharpen our scissors, and honor the lady killers who live on the silver screen.
No boys were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Yet.
Hello, I'm Shelby Scott, the host of Scare You to Sleep, a podcast where I tell you spooky bedtime stories full of creepy sound effects and music that is soothing yet unsettling to help immerse you into a world of horror. This is a show for those of us who have realized horror can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Speaking of escapes, sometimes I lead you through guided nightmares, like a guided meditation, but instead of flowery meadows, I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm. Sweet screams.